Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll just pretend that never happened. Hey Anya, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. How are you? I wish you could see this tiny mouth that is agape as she sleeps. She's sleeping like this. Yeah. That's what you're doing. You're sleeping like that. Morning. Mommy doesn't have the capacity to empty this whole thing right now, so we'll just dig out a couple, huh? Good morning, Ray. Long time no see in book club. How are you? Hey, Danny. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna rub and drip. Hey, Slaw. Alright, I'm back. Yes, we're here. We're here. We're here. Oh, you're gonna stick your tongue out at me in your sleep? Okay, that's fine. She went like this. Very tongue sticky outy in her sleep. Hey, Cindy. How are you? I was just thinking about you yesterday, not only because we were commenting to one another and it was funny, but also because I was like, am I ever going to finish a second book to give her to edit? Am I ever going to do that? So I was thinking of you outside of the TikTok realm. I was thinking of you in work realm. We'll see if that ever happens for me. Somebody takes up a lot of my time. Yeah. That's okay. You're worth it, huh? Working from home today. That's exciting. Have you been listening to any of this book? I think you'd really like it. I know you want to be here for that other book too. That's going to be a minute before that comes up on the library. Look at this ear. Look at this perfect ear. I made that from scratch. I made that ear from scratch. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I missed out quite a bit, but I've listened to it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So at the end of yesterday's chapter, in case anyone missed out, Quinn kissed Bella. Bella asked Quinn if she could kiss her, but then Quinn jumped in and kissed her, and then Bella asked her to tell her a story, and we're going to hear that story today. We're going to hear that story today. Yeah. We're going to hear that story today, cute nose. If you ever want to celebrate, make sure you put her on Etsy. She's homemade. That's right. That's right. She's handmade. She's handmade. That's right. Do you guys remember that TikTok sound? Hey, Tressa. Do you guys remember that TikTok sound that was viral for a while that all the moms were doing that were like, this one I made it myself, this one I made it myself, and then they look at their husbands and they're like, this one I found in the dumpster and showed it a little love. We talked about your fixer-upper. Yes, I will do it, Cindy. I'm convinced. Hey, Naisa. But that was like one of the funniest sounds ever. And I mentioned that sound to my husband the other day, and he was like, honestly, kind of. And I was like, yeah, well. So he wasn't mad about it. We didn't find Daddy in a dumpster, did we? No. No. Talk about the fixer-upper. He was very well put together and extremely clean already. He didn't come from a dumpster. A lot's happened since I was last live. What happened? What happened? Yes, baby princess. Can you say hi? No, you cannot. Why? Because we can't talk yet, but we're learning. You have to have an ECG blood test. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope you get that taken care of with your folks. Ooh, look at that beautiful coffee. He was missing a raccoon appendage, though. He was missing a raccoon appendage, though. It's true. He was. He was. I know. She's gained so much already. Isn't that crazy? It's wild to me, Sloth, how much in the last few days she's just, I have to be referred to it. Oh, goodness gracious, Isabella. Well, we'll be thinking of you and wishing you the best, of course. So when the baby was born, she was 6 pounds and 3 ounces when she was born. But as we all know, babies lose a lot of their weight before they even leave the hospital. Not a lot. That's wrong. I shouldn't have said a lot. They lose some. So when we left the hospital, she was down to 5 pounds and 12 ounces, which they said was a normal amount and not a scary amount to lose. Oh, I'm so glad, Isabella. So she went from being 6 pounds and 3 ounces at birth to being 5 pounds and 12 ounces when we left the hospital. When we went to her first appointment, she was the same weight. She hadn't gained any weight within the 2 days between the next appointment. But by the end of the week, she had gained a couple of ounces. And then we had to wait a week and a half until her next appointment. And by her next appointment, she had gained more than a pound. And now, I think if we weighed her, we would find that she's probably almost 8 pounds, huh? Are you almost? Yes, a good smile. You feel like you're almost 8 pounds. And Mommy weighs things a lot. She carries a lot of packages and she weighs a lot of packages, and you feel like you're almost 8 pounds. I know, it's so crazy how they jump up and down and all around. I know, that's you. Yeah, you didn't like that sound outside. I didn't either. Okay, Snugglemuffin. Let's see if we can keep the sun out of your eyeballs. Yeah. And then we will go to our chair. Let's go to our chair, huh? Yeah. Oh, Mommy lost track of how to hold things, but that's okay. We're going to our reading chair all together, very carefully carrying baby and coffee and you all. And we're going to sit down very carefully. Ooh. Coffee down. Tripod. We got this, you guys. When she was really little, hold on. So when she was still only 6 pounds, she is past her due date, yeah. Oh, a week past it, yes, you're right, that's right. She's a week past it, yes. She's all homegrown, yes. She's got awesome growth. So, when she was really little, when she first came out, I could carry her in this, even though this is not a carrier, this is just meant for being close to them. This is not supposed to be a carrier, it's just a wrap. Okay, that's true. But I was able to carry her in it, even though it's not meant to be a carrier because she was so small, but she's gained so much weight now that I have to support her with an arm. So that's why I have to be careful with the coffee. Work and school canceled here for the winter storms. It's so bad, right, Mel? A lot of you guys have I saw some pictures. It's pretty intense, right? Oh, God bless coffee, huh? We don't even believe in God, but let him bless this coffee just the same. I believe it, Amanda. I believe it. Yeah. Okay, let's rock. Shall we rock? Yeah, let Mommy get some coffee in her. So many rocks from the ice already. I believe it. They see you waving. There you are. There's your wave. Good wave. Good wave, honey. Negative 14. Yikes. Yikes. She's totally waving. Morning, Jen. Let me just get a couple sips of coffee in me and then we can read. Morning, Danielle. Negative 19. Not cute. Not cute. No. Negative 30. How is that even possible? Negative 32. What do you people, why do you live there? Like, let's be real for a second. Level with me. What is so good the rest of the year that's worth negative 32? Be real. Tell me for real. I want to know. You hibernate. Yeah, that's fair. But like, come on. I don't know, guys. Feels rough seas. And, you know, the two people you see on the screen right now, we are beach girls. We were both, you know, California girls born and bred. But, well, I wasn't really born in California, but that was an accident. I was supposed to be born in California. Oh my gosh, that's amazing, Jen. Congratulations to them. That's so lovely. I love it. Lakes, farmland, New England fall. But can't you visit New England fall? -1 here, so I can't complain. That's funny, Mina. I can't even imagine, Jen. I would be too. It's a big step and obviously necessary to like do it now for all, you know, obvious reasons. Like get it done as quickly as possible. My Keurig broke. No, Mel. And you can't even go get anything because of the ice. Oh, that's literally so sad. 42 here and I take back complaining. Yeah, right. Tressa's like, wait a minute. 42 sounds really great right now. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's 53 here right now. And this morning I was like, oh, it's chilly. Yeah, I don't blame you, Jen. Obviously, you know I'm on your side for that. Yes, hi, Aaliyah. But yeah, I don't know. I lived in New York for 15 years. He's upset about the rain. You know what, Tressa? Tell him I don't blame him. I also don't like rain. I would take snow over rain any day, you guys, because you can brush snow off of you, but rain seeps into your clothes real fast. Yeah, so 53 is cold for us beach girls, huh? For us beach girls, yes. My husband asks me all the time how I survived 15 years in New York. That's fair, Mel. That is very fair. But that's why you want snow over rain, right? Because the rain makes ice, yeah. My husband's always like, how did you live so long in New York? You get cold so easily. It's just different, you know, your body just adapts and stuff, but you don't know. You've never been cold. You've never been cold. You don't even know what that's like. You were born in Los Angeles, huh? Yeah, you're a real LA girl, just like your grandma. Yes, my mother and her sisters were also born in Los Angeles. Okay, so happy to have snow because it brightens everything emotionally when it's this cold. That's true. That is true. Until, if you live in the city, it gets mucky and brown and yucky. You know what I mean? They say you acclimate. It's been 15 years now and I have not acclimated. Heat is different, Cindy. I never acclimated to the heat of New York, but I did acclimate to the cold of it. Isn't that weird? It's true though. In the summer in New York, I was always miserable, but I could just like, I could make it through the winter somehow without being totally miserable, but I was miserable in the heat. Yeah, yeah. Roll suburban girls here. Oh, yeah, yeah. Did you hear that? She's a girl from a rural suburb. You don't even know what that means. You've only ever seen the city. You've never been anywhere but a city. Yeah. It is weird, Cindy. I always said that being in New York in the heat of summer feels like being in a cardboard box that is just slightly larger than your body, whatever your body size is. So if this is your body, the box is just slightly larger. And at the bottom of the box, there's a pot of boiling water. That's what it's like to be in New York in the summer. Yeah. You're claustrophobic and there's humidity all around and you can't escape it because there's no space. Yeah. You have cows and horses. You know what? My aunt lives in the hills here in LA and they also have cows and horses, believe it or not. Yeah. It's just slightly not city, even though it's part of Los Angeles County. You might have been, Jen, because I didn't see anything else. I feel that Texas is worse. I believe Texas is probably worse. But is Texas not dry heat, Cindy? I actually don't know. I'm asking. You move next month? Oh my gosh, time has flown. Well, I made a baby in the time that you were prepping this move, so I guess time hasn't really flown. Jasmine will get experience. Yes, I would like her to have horseback riding lessons. That's true. Not everywhere in New York has AC, but everywhere in Texas does. That is also true. I rode horses when I was young. Texas is supposed to be dry heat, but it's really not. Oh, yucky. I actually didn't know that. I've only just driven through Texas. I've never well, that's not true. I did 2 slime conventions in Texas, but neither were in the summer, so it didn't really matter. I did one in San Antonio and one in Dallas. Yeah. But like I said, neither was in the summer. Where were you, Tressa? Okay, so today we're going to read the story that Quinn told. I'm sure some parts of Texas are dry heat, but Dallas-Fort Worth is not. Yeah, I think if I had been there in the summer, I would have wanted to end it all, Sydney. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, not cute. Not cute. All right, so first thing we're going to read today is the story that Central Texas, about an hour north of Austin. I've heard Austin is really cool, you guys. I think I told you guys that about a month ago, I got an offer to run a large slime company that's based out of Texas. They just emailed me and they were like, hi, we would like to offer you the position of creative director. I guess because I had been the creative director of Slumu and they were looking for a new creative director. And they were like, we'll pay for you to relocate to Austin, Texas. And I was like, no. And I told my husband, I was like, you want to hear the funniest thing that's happened? He was like, they're going to pay for us to relocate. We should totally do it. I was like, you crazy. We are not moving to Texas. I was a pregnant woman at the time. There's no more dangerous place on the planet to be than Texas as a pregnant woman. I was like, we are not doing that. They will end me. Truly. You think that's funny, but it's probably true. Yeah, no. I'm sure Austin's really lovely, but they don't have separate laws. You know what I mean? Okay, so as I was saying, if you were not on here at the beginning of this live, I mentioned at the end of the last chapter that we read yesterday, what happened was they're all at Quinn's house, right? That's where they're hiding out in New Cairo, at Quinn's mom's house, essentially, or Quinn's house. And Bella basically climbed in bed with Quinn, and she asked her if she could kiss her. And then she paused for a second, and Quinn kissed her instead. And then they do some kissy-missy, whatever, yada yadas that they don't explain on the page because it's a closed door romance kind of situation. Austin does actually have a few separate laws, but not enough. Really, I actually didn't know that. That's lovely. It's actually very good for them. And then as they were settling in to go to bed for the night, Bella says to Quinn, will you tell me a story? And this is the story that Quinn tells her. So let's go ahead and read the story that Quinn tells her. This story is called How Aunt Nancy Stole the Words. Okay? This is the story of how Aunt Nancy stole all the words for her daughters and granddaughters and great-granddaughters. Aunt Nancy was an old woman, or perhaps she was a young woman, or maybe she was a spider, or a hare, or was she all 4 at once, with clouds of cobwebs for hair and shining black buttons for eyes, when her littlest great-granddaughter cried that she wanted to learn her letters? Oh, sorry. She was an old woman when her littlest granddaughter cried that she wanted to learn her letters. I see, sorry. But now Aunt Nancy would do anything for her grandchildren, so she went to the man in the big house and asked if he would please teach her to write. The man laughed at her, this little old woman with her cobwebbed hair. There was even a little black spider dangling beside her ear, watching him with tiny red eyes. In the end, the man swore that he would teach her to read and write if she brought him the smile of a coyote, the teeth of a hen, the tears of a snake, and the cry of a spider.
Aunt Nancy smiled and thanked him very prettily, and he laughed again, because she was so old and foolish that she didn't even know an impossible task when she heard one. She hobbled back to her cabin in the woods. She sat on the porch and looked at the stars and sang a little song. Cottontail and Sly Fox, Terrapin and Titmouse, come one, come all to your Aunt Nancy's house. And all the animals of the farm and the forest began to creep forward as she sang, because Aunt Nancy knew plenty of words and ways already. The next day, Aunt Nancy returned to the big house with the smile of a coyote, the teeth of a hen, the tears of a snake, the cry of a spider. But the man spurned her payment, claiming it was a trick or a ploy, that she was a witch and he would see her burned at the stake before he taught her even a single letter. He ordered her to leave, and so Aunt Nancy left. But every evening after that, when the man read books to his children before bed, there was a spider watching him from the window, black as night and cinder-eyed. And in time, Aunt Nancy taught her great-granddaughters letters. All right. Well, that's a twist on a couple of tales, huh? All right. Today we are going to read Chapter 28. Hide away, hide away, hide away with me. Hide away home. A song to avert any unwanted eye, requiring sympathy and the Southern crown. Beatrice Belladonna wakes just before dawn with her head pillowed on the soft meat of Cleo's shoulder. Cleo is still sleeping, her heart thudding slow and even in Bella's ear. Bella pulls herself to one elbow and studies her, not counting the seconds. Her clever arch of brow, the polished shine of her skin, the hollow place where her collarbones meet, and Bella thinks of all their long afternoons together at Avalon, annotating and translating, adrift in a private sea of words and ways. Ashes now, all of it. Men are probably wading through the wreckage at this very moment, smearing the remains beneath their boots, laughing at the lost hope of the witches. The thought is a knife in her stomach. She finds herself standing, slipping back into her stinking dress from the night before. She looks back at once at all the sleeping sprawl of Cleo's body, an offering that is an undeserving altar, before tiptoeing down the narrow stairs. Her sisters are still sleeping, nestled close together. The binding between them seems to hum as Bella passes, and for a dizzy second she feels two hearts beating beside hers, two chests rising and falling as if they are no longer entirely separate from one another. It ought to worry her, but there's a rightness to it, like three braids standing together. I did have the baby. Yes, she's here. She's just over 3 weeks old. Bella catches the pale ghost of her own reflection in the hall mirror. Her face is subtly different, as if Cleo has worked some arcane spell in the night. Her hair is loose and long, her cheeks warm, her lips bitten pink. If this is the consequence of her sinfulness, perhaps she ought to sin more. Bella leaves her reflection behind and steps into the spice shop proper. She rattles briefly behind the counter, emerging with a pair of dull silver shears, and she's inching towards the door when a voice stops her. Are you leaving already, Miss Belladonna? She wheels around to find Quinn's mother perched on a stool with a steaming mug curled in one hand and a black silk wrap around her head. She clucks her tongue, without even so much as a thank you. Bella tucks the shears behind her back, a guilty schoolgirl. Oh, thank you, Miss Aramintina Andromeda Wells. And just where are you going? Nowhere. Miss Wells considers her for a second, or possibly a century, and she sighs. Come here, girl. It does not occur to Bella to disobey. I'd send you through the tunnels, but the door's only open for daughters, and you don't have the mark. She taps Bella's wrist right where Cleo bears her scar, the pattern of stars. Well, this will have to do. Bella stands very still as Miss Wells hums a tune beneath her breath. She removes an ink pen from her dressing gown pocket and draws a shape on the soft white of Bella's palm. A spiral of lines and diamonds, a starry crown, and Bella thinks it's the same shape that Cleo drew on the brick wall of St. Mary of Egypt Avenue when they ran from the rioters. Hi. She closes her hand tight around the marks, warm with witching. Thank you, Miss Wells. Cleo's a good girl, Emerantina answers, somewhat obscurely, but she amends it. Well, no, she isn't. She's always been curious as a cat and twice as sly, but she's mine. And she deserves, she trails off. What? What's the matter? What's the matter, sweet girl? What's wrong? What's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong? What is it, my sweet baby? What is it? Okay. Pursing and unpursing her lips before she finishes her statement. You just make sure you come back. Bella gives her a grave bow, hand over her heart. The streets of New Cairo are still, the houses shut tight against the madness of men with lit torches. The stale, dead smoke hangs thick in the air. No, I don't think she's hungry because she just ate right before we got on, and she's not rooting and she's not doing any kind of her... She has pretty distinct tells when she's hungry. I think she's just dreaming because her eyes are still closed. Yeah. Yeah, the baby came about 3 weeks ago, but she's pretty distinctive with her tells on when she's hungry. She starts by going like that every time she's hungry. You know what? We're not giving out her name publicly, but you can call her Jasmine or Gracelyn. Those are her nicknames on here. And then she always kind of goes like this when she's hungry, and then she sticks her fist in her mouth if she's really, really hungry, but she hasn't done any of those things. Bella gives her a grave bow, hand over her heart. The streets of New Cairo are still. The houses are shut tight against the madness of the men with the lit torches. The stale, dead smell of smoke hangs thick in the air. It grows stronger as Bella draws closer to the city's heart, muffling sounds, obscuring the gray streaks of dawn. There are people in the streets now, paper boys and maids, working men heading west, street cleaners and lamplighters, but they move with a hunched shoulder and red eyes, as if the whole city is recovering from a night of drunken rage. Their eyes slide over Bella as if she's made of glass, and none of them see the black-winged bird that keeps pace with her high above. A block south of the square, she starts noticing white dust gathering in the cracks between the cobblestones, clogging the gutters. There's a dizzy second when she mistakes it for snow before she recognizes it for what it is. Ash. At the final corner, Bella ducks into the doorway of a closed shop. A gray drift of ash is gathered on the threshold, with a single rose petal lying atop it. The petals survived the fire with its edges only lightly charred, and the center still soft pink. Bella bends and slips it into her skirt pocket. She keeps her hand pressed over it as she peers around the edge of the shop and into the square. The tower stands tall and terrible, strangely naked, without its cloak of roses and ivory. The windows are desolate holes, revealing a hollow heart of the place that was once a library, a haven, a home. The woods around it are a smoking graveyard, the burnt stumps of trees leaning like headstones. It seems to Bella she hears women weeping softly and steadily, but the only people present are the men who pluck at the still smoke ruins with shovels and rakes, sifting tentatively through the ash as if they are expecting vengeful witches to come soaring out of the coals on flaming broomsticks. Someone stands among them, staring up at the corpse of the tower with a small, contented smile, like a man at the end of some long, arduous journey. He strokes at the spine of a black dog beside him, who stands with her tail tucked between her legs. Gideon Hill. The last time Bella saw him, he was ordering her sister's arrest. The sight of him now is another knife twisted in her belly, the hot rush of hate. She withdraws the silver shears from her skirt and studies them. She isn't a librarian anymore, and her library is nothing but ash. But surely she can still evict a misbehaving patron. Surely it's easier to lose something than to find it. Bella glances up at Strix, circling so high above the square that he could be mistaken for a crow unless you catch the hot gleam of his eyes. Bella whispers her grandmother's words and snips the scissors once in the air. The simple charm for hedging witch, hiding her potions, or a child hiding her petty crimes, for secrets kept and truths untold. The black tower, the gravestone trees, they all vanish in a fold of elsewhere. This time, there's no binding to hold it close, no jar of earth and leaves, and the tower falls deeper and deeper, a coin dropped in a bottomless ocean. Hill's men are left holding their rakes and shovels, blinking stupidly at one another, but Bella isn't watching them. She's watching Gideon Hill himself. His neck stiffens, the satisfied smile becomes a snarl, his colorless hair wisps into his face, and he turns around. Where is it? Who? Bella enjoys a second of savage satisfaction, but his expression is wrong somehow, hinged in a way that makes Bella duck back behind the doorway. It reminds her of their daddy when one of them thwarted him, red fury stretched thinly over gray terror. But Hill hasn't been thwarted. He already won everything there is to win. What is there to fear in a vanishing ruin? A dark twist of movement catches her eye. The shadow of the doorway is writhing as she watches it, sprouting hands and fingers and a malformed head. Bella doesn't move. She doesn't breathe as the shadow passes over her. It doesn't seem to see her, but the head rolls back and forth like a hound with a scent searching. Bella runs. Tonight, I think, as soon as it's good and dark, are there any tunnels that lead out of the city? Agnes wakes to the soft murmur of voices and a yellow slant of daylight. Through a doorway, she sees Bella and Cleo sitting together at a scuffed kitchen table, and their legs are intermingled. Cleo doesn't answer immediately, but she lays her hand on the table, not quite touching Bella's. Well, yes, but I'd rather see you stayed. Her voice is soft, but somehow urgent. It's intimate. It occurs to Agnes to wonder where her oldest sister may have slept last night. But we're putting you in danger just by being here. Agnes watches as Bella's hand creeps toward Cleo's, as if it possesses a mind of its own. Someone is bound to notice 3 white women and a newborn living in your mother's spice shop, no matter how well we disguise ourselves or how thoroughly we hide. And we know now that our wards won't hold against Hill forever. So we'll find another safe house and move between them. Renew the wards twice a day. The sisters will help, maybe the daughters. And what about Agnes's man, that one who delivered you to my doorstep so efficiently? Agnes's man, she heard. What a novel, rather appealing argument. To own a man rather than to be owned by him. Bella huffs. And who will feed and clothe us? Our savings are burned along with everything else, and none of us have jobs anymore. You might notice I do have a job, and if they stop printing my stories, we can steal, scavenge, or beg. Whatever, we'll find a way. Cleo pauses, eyes flicking across Bella's face, and her voice falls. You're no coward. Bella swallows, eyes falling to Cleo's hand, still lying between them, and then they fall away. Well, it's not a question of cowardice or courage, it's just logic. We lost. He won. We thought that we were the beginning of some grand new story, but we were wrong. It's the same old story, and if we keep telling it, every one of us will burn. Witches always do. There's an enormous scathing, huh, from the opposite doorway. Agnes startles with the air above her. Dark wings twist the gleam of talons. Her hawk has returned from the other side of Elsewhere to hover over Agnes and Eve. Her heart flutters to the back, he flutters to the back of a chair, glaring at the smallish, sharp-faced woman who stands in the doorway. Agnes's memory of the previous night is fragmented, it's feverish, but she thinks she recalls that face hovering above her and singing her to health again. Now her hands are on her hips, her face is seamed and bitter. I should have known you'd spend all summer stirring up a hornet's nest worth of trouble, but as soon as trouble arrives, you head for the hills. Bella has her mouth open, but another voice shouts across her, Yeah, the hell we are. Juniper's objection is loud, it's abrupt, and so much that Eve wakes with a startled snort. Agnes struggles upright. The entire middle of her is wrong feeling. It's squashy and swollen, it's achy, and she tries to wrap the swaddling back around her daughter before her wails wake the neighbors, or possibly the entire city. But Eve seems to have sprouted several extra arms and legs during the night, and she's flailing in all separate directions. That is so true. babies grow extra limbs every night and they just flail them everywhere. That is a fact. Juniper scrambles upright. Her hair is standing at wild angles. It's all right, baby girl. It's all right. Auntie June is here for you. Auntie June proceeds to scoop Eve up from Agnes's arms, swaying and patting, and Eve cries and shrinks to muttered complaints, and Juniper beams down at her. It's a soft, half-sleeping smile that Agnes hasn't seen on her sister's face since they were girls. Sorry, Juniper whispers. I only meant I'm not going anywhere because I want to fight. We are aware of that, June. Bella scrubs a hand over her face. But there's a time to fight, and there's a time to survive. If we leave now and let the bastards win, no ma'am. Juniper's face isn't soft anymore, but a faint frown crosses her sister's face as she looks down at the baby curled in her arms, and Juniper looks burdened and a little bewildered by the burden, as if she's found herself hauling a heavy load entirely by accident. And it's gonna get bad, isn't it? They're gonna come for all of us, for every woman who knows more than she should, who doesn't smile when she's told to smile. Juniper sounds uncertain, feeling her way across unknown terrain. It seems to me like Miss Amarantina's right. We got them into this mess, so we can't walk out on them now. A brief, slightly astonished silence follows, and Agnes wonders when her baby sister, so wild, started thinking about duty and debt, cause and consequence. Somewhere in the dark of the deeps, maybe it happened, or right now, standing with the weight of her niece in her arms. Bella's the first to collect herself. It's laudable, but I went to St. George's this morning. You what now? I saw Gideon Hill there. There's something wrong about him, something sick. You were right. He was furious when I sent the tower away. He was almost deranged. He'll keep coming after us. And what happens in November? What if he's elected? What happens when he has more than just angry mobs and shadows? Agnes sees Bella glance down at Cleo's hand again. Her eyes are clouded with worry, and she understands that it isn't herself she's afraid for. Agnes thinks of August running through the raising riot, searching for her, and the relief of his face when he found her, of Eve staring up at her eyes, solemn as a saint, of Juniper's voice breaking as she promised to take care of her, of the terrible risk of loving someone more than yourself and the secret strength it grants you. Well, she says mildly, I'm staying. And above her, the hawk croons. Several sets of eyes swivel towards them. Bella adjusts her spectacles. I thought you were done with all of this. Agnes shrugs. That was before Eve, before her familiar flew out of the darkness to her, before her life cleaved into before and after. Aren't you worried for her? Juniper tilts her chin at Eve, who's making a faint, irritable B sound that might be a snore. Well, yeah, Agnes answers, because she is. She lays half awake the night, consumed by stray terrors and uncertainties, convinced that the miracle rise and fall of her daughter's ribs would cease the second she closes her eyes. But beneath the terror was something else, something clawed and fanged and ruthless, and she doesn't know how to explain it. Yeah, I'm terrified and I'm terrible. I'm fearful and I'm something to be feared, she thinks. She meets Amarantina's eyes, dark and knowing, sharp and soft, and she thinks maybe every mother is both of those things at once. She gives her sisters another shrug. Yeah, but I'm still staying. Juniper's face lights. Her eyes slide back to Bella. Well then? Bella lifts both hands into the air. Well, what? You two can make all the brave pronouncements you like, but what good are they? What good are we without Avalon? And Amarantina interrupts her. Well, you still have more words and ways than 9 women out of 10, and her eyes slide to the hawk perched on her chair. I know a familiar when I see one. Bella opens her mouth and then closes it. And how's that? Amarantina smiles, a sly, sidelong smile, and for the first time, Agnes sees some of Cleo in her face. Oh, because I'm the 10th woman. And as she says it, an animal appears at her feet, coiling out of nothing. It's a black hare with ember eyes, and Juniper whispers something profane and admiring. Agnes gasps, and Bella merely looks intent. There's more witching left in the world than you girls seem to think, Amarantina says, and her eyes are on Bella's, the kind they can't burn because it was never written down. Cleo speaks for the first time since her mother has arrived. And if they stay, are we going to help them? Will the daughters stand beside their sisters, Almea? Agnes frowns at the last word, but Amarantina gives a little grunt, as if the title is arrow, aimed well. She bows her head to her daughter, and Cleo grins back, and she turns to Bella. So, what do you say? Cleo's voice is low and too warm again. Her eyes burn bright and gold. All for one? Agnes almost feels sorry for her sister, subjected to the heat of that gaze. Bella's eyes search Cleo's face, and whatever she finds sends a flush tiptoeing up her neck. Her fingers creep those few final inches to curl around Cleo's. And all one for all, she whispers back. Did you invent Juggle Jelly? I think you mean Jiggle Jelly. There's no way to really know who invented what because some people might make things in private, but I definitely named that. That is a name that I did come up with on my own, yes. I came up with that name. I don't know if anyone ever made the substance before me. Some people say they did, some people say they didn't. Who knows? I won't claim anything except what I know. All right, Mom's gonna get a sip of coffee and then we will read the next chapter, right? Because you seem pretty calm. You seem pretty calm, sweet girl. Yes, you do. She's doing pretty well today. I think our AC getting fixed really helped her out. She's much more content, you know? Yeah? Are you content with the air conditioning? You like it? Oh no, I spoke too soon. Did I speak too soon? What did I do? What did Mommy do? What is it? We're taking a break for a second so Mommy can have coffee. She is, right, Sloth? She's doing so good today. Can we get through another chapter, do you think? That would be fun for us, huh? It's fun for Mommy to read. Mommy likes to read. Mommy likes to read, huh? Yeah. Should we do one more? What do you think? Stretchy pants? Yeah. What do you think? I know, right? That's so true, Naisa. That happens all the time. You guys, did I tell you guys what happened at our baby photo shoot? So we were doing all of these amazing photos that they were taking, all of her like fandom photos, you know? And my husband asked if they were gonna do any pictures of her awake because all of the baby photos are always, you know, newborn photos are usually of sleeping babies. And he loves her eyes, you know, because she's got the most beautiful eyes, and also she's very focused when she's awake. She's not like, I don't know, she's a very alert baby, which some are and some aren't. Like my sister talks about her two kids. Zoe, my older niece, was not a very alert newborn, but my nephew, Ethan, was a very alert newborn. So it's just, you don't know, right? You don't know what's gonna happen. So anyway, he asks the photographer, are you gonna do any of her awake? But just curious. He wasn't being pushy or anything. He was just musing. And the photographer was like, no, probably not, because here's the thing, like newborns make really funny faces. They like roll their eyes in funny ways because they can't control them yet, like blah, blah, blah. So we usually do sleeping photos. And he said, okay, no problem. Literally, not even a minute later, she's awake in a photo and she looks right at the camera and she goes like this. Like that. It is the most amazing shot you've ever seen. She's looking straight at the camera and she just goes and she's got both eyes open, and it's just like, and the photographer ran over to us and was like, look at this. So it's like Naisa said, she said, watch this. You think that babies can't make cute faces? I'll show you. I'll make a good face. She said, homemade milk, huh? Homemade milk. Yes, that's right. That's our Jasmine. Yeah, she heard Dad say, please, one with your eyes open. And it's so cute because they've got little like hearts and clouds all around her in the photo. So she looks like a little angel, like floating in the clouds, like a little cherub. It's so cute. We're getting it blown up big. You know, it's the background on my phone actually now because she's so stinking cute. You heard your daddy wanted a picture with your eyes, huh? Okay, we should read now while she's still content. Let's not press our luck. This is chapter 29. What is now and ever and unto ages and ages may not always be. A spell for undoing, requiring a needle and a cracked egg. For 3 days, Beatrice, Belladonna, and her sisters remain in the dim back rooms of Amarantina's Spice and Sundries, their long, tiresome days, and Agnes rests and wakes and rests again, her fever rising and falling like a stubborn tide. Eve alternates between cherubic contentment and fits of aggrieved screaming, as if she was promised some treat and then bitterly denied. Sounds familiar. Bella sits for hours with her black notebook on her knees, listening to Amarantina Wells lecture on constellations and sung spells and the rhythm of witching. Juniper is mostly absent, arriving and departing at odd hours, filling her pockets with herbs and bones from the shop's stock. The nights are long too, but Bella does not find those tiresome. They're smothered in laughter and lips and hands and hips hidden beneath saffron quilts. There are hours stolen out of time, unburdened by the future and unsullied by the past. Though sometimes the past does slither in, sometimes Bella wakes from dreams of cellars and burning barns, sometimes she flinches from Cleo's touch as if it's hot wax, and Cleo lies very still until Bella's pulse steadies, and afterwards she holds her carefully like Bella has spun sugar for skim. Aww. By the afternoon of the 4th day, Bella's beginning to hope they might be safe, that her sisters are not fools to stay in this vicious, hungry city, that she might wake up every morning with her cheek on Cleo's shoulder. But then Juniper staggers into the shop with her mouth thin and her eyes high. Outside, the shadows, they're gathering, thickening. I don't know if they can smell us or track us or what, but I figure it's time we better get gone. They leave as the sun sets, drawing Nut Street in mauve and gray, and they follow Cleo down into the tunnels, Bella, then Agnes with Eve wrapped tight to her chest in a manner that Amarantina taught her, and then Juniper, swearing and shivering. Even before her time in the deep, she didn't care much for being below ground, but now she detests it. They emerge long after dark, filing out of a tiny building that looks from the outside like a garden shed or maybe a pigeon coop, and then they slip through a hedge onto a sedated East Avenue. Is this close enough? Cleo whispers. Yes, Bella answers. Send word once you're settled, will you? I will. Cleo runs out of things to say, so she simply stares at Bella, tracing her face, and Bella has never liked her own features so much as she does in that moment, in the soft gold of Cleo's gaze. Before touching the brim of her derby hat, she says, 3 bless and keep you. Bella and her sisters are left alone in the darkening streets. The east side is apparently untroubled by the riots and the arrests plaguing the rest of New Salem. The houses have dignified gables and clipped lawns and the slight burnished shine of old money. Their windows send soft lamplight and the clink of crystal over the empty streets. A man's laugh floats from one of them, unworried and perfectly content. Bella's sisters crowd close behind her in the borrowed clothes and black cloaks like refugees from some darker, wilder world. An owl and a hawk wheel high above them, and she leads them to a red brick house on St. Jerome Street, slightly shabbier and older than its neighbors. She knocks twice, and the silence that follows is sufficient for her to doubt every decision that brought her here. And then the door swings inward, and an elderly, sweatered gentleman blinks up at her. Oh, Miss Eastwood, pardon me, Mrs. Eastwood. Mr. Henry Blackwell beams at the 3 of them, as if they are unexpected guests to a dinner party rather than the most wanted criminals in the city. And are those my words? Sorry, I read that wrong. Let me back up a little. They just got to Mr. Blackwell's house. If you guys haven't been with us or you don't remember, Mr. Blackwell is the other librarian that Bella used to work with. He still works at the library. He's the good guy. He's one of the good ones. And those are, oh, my word, he says. Their familiars have swept to their shoulders in a rush of black feathers and hot eyes. Talons are curved like carved jet. Mr. Blackwell's genial smile shifts towards awe as he looks at them. He gathers himself. I don't believe that we've been introduced. This is Strix Varia. Strix, I call him. And Pan, Bella gestures to the fisher hawk on Agnes's shoulder, for Pandion hiatus. the Western Osprey. You know them. Bella, behind her, she hears Juniper mutter about the injustice of her sisters finding their familiars first, as if they were just going to give them such stupid long names. Mr. Blackwell appears not to hear Juniper. He gives each of them a small bow and says, "Do come in, all of you." The hall is dark oak and dense carpet, and as soon as the door clicks behind them, Bella begins. "I'm so sorry that we surprised you like this. I know it's an imposition, I know. And it's terribly dangerous for us to be here, but my sisters and I, we need a place to..." But Mr. Blackwell is waving a hand over his shoulder at her. "Oh no, it's no trouble at all. I've been worried sick about you, to tell the truth." "Hi. Hi. Hi. Yeah." Bella isn't at all convinced that the amiable, bespectacled Mr. Blackwell Oh yeah? Oh yeah? 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 Are we waking up? Are we waking up? Okay, you can wake up. You can wake up, sweet girl. Yeah, you can wake up. Honey, you can wake up. It's okay. Hi. We don't have to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We can wake up on the happy side. Let's wake up on the happy side of the bed. Hi. Hi, happy side. Hi, happy side of the bed. Hi, happy side. Okay. Do you want to eat or do you want to finish a chapter? What would you like? You look like you want to eat. So maybe we set you up to eat and then we finish. What do you think, huh? Yeah. Okay. 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 Mommy will get you out. Mommy will get you out. Hi. Hi. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, my sweet baby girl. Okay. Okay. We got through a chapter today. We'll finish the other chapter tomorrow. I know, she's so sweet, right? Okay, we'll finish this chapter tomorrow. We got through one in a story. We're gonna go eat. It's okay. Say bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll read this chapter tomorrow. We barely just got into it, huh? Say it's okay. I need to eat. Say I have to eat food. Okay. All right, bye, guys. See you later. Okay.